Hello!
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, HaiPad. Yes, let's begin a video by quoting an obscure film that most people watching won't have seen. That's always a good idea. Anyway, look, it's a fake iPad. Well, that's a little bit unfair, actually. It's a tablet computer based on Google's Android operating system, what they wrote for mobile phones like. And really, it exists parallel to Apple's iPad. See? That's my hands demonstrating parallel. Impressed, aren't you? The thing is, of course, ever since the iPad's released, and in fact, since the official photos of the iPad were released, if I remember, increasingly these have been packaged to look exactly like iPads. You'll notice, for instance, that this one looks exactly like a widescreen iPad with Google written on it. And they're all given names like ePad and APad, and in this case, HaiPad. It's all a bit feeble, really, and it's a bit of a shame, because it means rather than taking this device on its own merits, people will just compare it directly to an iPad, which is a far more expensive device. There we are, they brought it on themselves with their blatant fakery. Right, let's have a look at this, shall we? This runs Android 2.1, which is the absolute latest version of the Android operating system. He lied! Yes, it's an iteration behind. I think we're currently on 2.2, or maybe even slightly further than that. I don't know. I get confused by them. They all have code names based on desserts for some reason. But basically, yeah, it's a lot better than early versions of these. In fact, let me warn you about early versions of these. To cut a long story short, these have been around a while, and the old ones were nowhere near as powerful and ran earlier versions of Android 1 point something and were pretty damn nasty. This is noticeably better. I should warn you of that if you're looking to buy one. Although why you're looking to buy one before I finish my review, I don't know. You're obviously an idiot. Look, just pay attention and stop going on. Right, what does this do? Wi-Fi. 3G. No, it doesn't. Seriously, there's no 3G in this. I presume they use the box for 3G models as well. HDMI, yes, HDMI output. You can plug into your 1080p TV, and it works quite nicely, actually. So that's a nice little feature. Oh, and 3D game. Not true. It actually runs several 3D games. Ooh, see what I did there? Grammar Nazi. Hilarious. Right, yeah. This is on 2.1, as we said, which is a shame because 2.2 adds Flash support amongst other things. Well, you can kind of fudge Flash on these with a fix-stroke dodgy thing that enables it to run. Sadly, it doesn't work on this model, so actually just forget all about Flash. Bloody Flash. Was it ever done from us, other than revolutionising the way we view multimedia over the internet? Right, here's the box. We've seen that already. It doesn't make many claims, frankly. It just kind of says Android 2.1, which is true. Has a little lie about the 3G. Oh man, that's not a good sign for this sofa, is it? And yeah, basically it doesn't make many claims, only lies about one of them. Not too bad. I bet you're all wondering what's under the box, aren't you? But you're not wondering any more. Right, let's see what's inside. Oh man, this is taking forever. Come on. Ah, there we go. Right, the device. Housed, you will notice, in a nice free carry case. Take note, Apple. Free thing when you buy expensive device. Hang on, this isn't even an expensive device. Actually, shall we talk price? Yeah, let's get it out of the way. As far as I can ascertain, these go for about £150 on eBay, which sounds quite a lot, but when you take into account the fact that an iPad costs like $420 minimum, that seems remarkably cheap. Of course, that is assuming these are actually useful. We'll come on to that later. Right, here's the tray that houses the thing. It's slightly broken, but has a pleasing fake suede feel to it. What else have we got? User's Guide for the HaiPad. Something interesting, actually. MID 701 is the actual designation of this unit. Be a bit careful with the names for these, because all sorts of different ones are called APAD and EPAD, and I don't really think the HaiPad part means anything. I'm going to have a quick flick through, if I believe. Yes, this is all actually in perfect English. Almost disappointing. Well, the Chinese bit isn't in English, obviously. That would make the Chinese bit a bit pointless. Next. Ugh. Fake Apple headphones. I mean, the real ones are bad enough. Deary me. A bag. Ooh, a power adapter. Because, of course, the power charger, disappointingly, it doesn't charge over USB. It seems to turn on when the battery's flat with the USB. It can, like, take power from it, but it can't use that to charge the battery. Very strange. There we are. A little proprietary connector. Jolly. Yep, that's the wrong type. Now it's the right type, and I'm slightly scared it'll catch fire. But there we are. That's just me. What's here? A mini USB cable. Yep, necessary. Good freebie. We like that. Also a nice freebie. a mini USB to normal USB adapter, so you can plug proper USB devices into it. Hey, thanks lads, nice little freebies, we appreciate it. Now, the device itself. Yeah, we got there in the end. Right, yeah, nasty cheap case that looks quite nice, but has a sort of plasticky feel, but actually, I think nasty cheap is a little bit unfair. I think it would stand up to some wear and tear. And inside, we have ourselves, ooh, suede-y, it's a stylus! You know what this means? We're in resistive touchscreen territory, friends. That's never a good thing. Although actually, something weird about this is the only resistive touchscreen I've ever used in my life which actually seems to work better with your fingers than with the stylus, which is very odd. Maybe that's because the operating system is geared towards using your fingers, so it has big icons and stuff. I don't know. Let's look at the unit itself. Ooh, that didn't sound healthy. Well, as you can see, it looks like a widescreen iPad, but it's very, very thin, like an iPad, but also noticeably smaller. Around the unit we have various things that we presume are cameras, nothing on the back at all other than the HaiPad M701R. Every time you sort of read the name of this unit, it adds extra bits on the end. It'll be a full sentence like a sort of Welsh mining village before long. Right, so what connectors have we got? That's the power, if I remember. That is the headphones. That's mini USB. That's some sort of power switch. That is the HDMI out. That is the SD card slot. Can you tell? Yeah, bizarrely, the earlier cheap versions of these had nice little slots where the card sat flush. This one pokes out like a nasty spiky thing. I don't really know what that's all about. Must try harder, lads. And here's a little volume rocker switch, which we will discover later has nothing to do with volume. Right, are you ready? I'm going to turn the lights off for the next bit so that we can more easily see the screen. And probably confuse the autofocus. Here we go. You may notice that the lights aren't off. And it's the next day. Yeah, bizarrely, the footage I filmed in the dark didn't come out, which is odd, because I filmed LCD screens in the dark before, and they came out fine. Oh well, one of those things. Let's do this in the light, just in case it's something to do with the screen on this. Right, let's turn it on via the incredibly intuitive method of flicking this little switch down, and then holding in the home button, and then pushing up on this. Yeah, I know, makes no sense to me either. HaiPad! Oh, the little girl's excited looking at it in the sky, so beautiful. Oh look, it's a little Android thing, bloke. Let's call him Charlie. He's probably got a name, I don't know what it is. Anyway, this takes a while to start. Thanks for staying on the line. Your call is important to us and will be answered as soon as possible. Oh, here we are. Android, it says. Lovely. Oh, and there's a little glisten going across it. That reminds me of the man of the 16-bit gaming era, specifically sort of the Atari ST and Amiga. Ah, lovely. There's put me in a good mood before it turns on. Before being the operative word. Come on. Come on. Come on. Blimey, that was a bit urgent. Preparing SD card. Hooray! Here we go. Right, this is what it looks like when you turn it on. You've probably guessed that by now. You will also notice it's got the Galaxy in the background, which is handy if you forget what it looks like. Ooh, what was that for? New email. Ooh, exciting. I'll come back to that in a second. Yeah, it's got a spinny thing of the Galaxy. It looks very pretty. We like it. It's also very smooth, which is quite... Actually, I tell you what, it reminds me of those old demos on the Amiga, actually. You've got a bizarre 16-bit feel until you start using it. But, yeah, that's quite nice. And something, of course, that's pleasing is if you can do a nice little demo like that, as smooth as butter in the background, then you know the user interface is going to be nice and smooth as well. Wrong! It's a horrible jerky mess. Now this makes no sense at all. Why on earth can it do pretty stuff in the background but not on the UI, which is infinitely more important? It's mental. I don't know, maybe it's got its priorities wrong in some fashion. You know, like your parents say to you every time you go and visit them. It just makes no sense to me. No, before you say anything, changing the background does not in any way make the UI run smoother. Very, very odd. I can only presume it's not optimised properly for Android, hence because it's an unofficial device or something. Oh, anyway, let's stop whinging and see what it does. Bar at the top. Presumably it's like this for all Android devices. I haven't used one long enough to know. But I quite like it, actually. Little bar with all your things. And if something happens, like for instance an email, tapping on this will go vit, Oh no, I think you have to drag it down, actually, yeah. There we are. I've got a notification. I can finally get my Norwegian domain name. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Finally, I can have a Norwegian domain. Bloody spam. Shouldn't that fall in the filter? Unless it's an official one from my web host. I shake my fist. Bloody Norwegian domain name. I can't even speak Norwegian. I don't know why I felt the need to qualify that. I'm pretty sure you could guess I don't speak Norwegian, but there we go. Yeah, you've also got home on it and volume up and down, which is handy because the volume rocker here isn't the volume. It is, as stated there, home and menu. Yeah, I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but never mind. Basically, quite like the menu system. It's very nice. One odd thing, you know, it went beep and told me I'd got a Google Mail on my Google Mail. Well, I never really set it up. It's odd. I gave it my Google account details, and so, you know, it automatically checks emails. That's lovely. But the weird thing is, if you actually go into the Google Mail app on this, it's not set up. You have to set it up separately. Like, how come that got set up automatically and the actual mail account doesn't? I don't know, it's weird. The screen's gone off. Let's turn it back on again. Right, let's start looking at what it actually does and stop whinging. Gallery! That lets you look at pictures. I'm sure you can guess that. Oh, go on, we'll jump in quickly. There we are, all pictures, all videos. Marvellous. Let's just jump out. Oh, there's a picture of me upside down. That's always handy. I'm sure you know how that works. Music. I'm sure you know what sound sounds like by now. If you don't, you must be having a very hard time interpreting this video. Maps, that is Google Maps. I am not going to press that because it will give you the location I film my videos at, which is obviously top secret. Actually, that brings up a good question. When I pressed on it, it pretty much knew exactly where I was. I don't know if it's done that through triangulation and a lucky guess, or if there's GPS. No, of course there isn't GPS in it. They'd have put it on the box. Don't be stupid, Stuart. Right, browser lets you look at the internet, and that is a rather important thing to do with one of these, so let's jump straight into that. Dun, dun, dun. It takes a little while to render pages, but not ages. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Right, Google, let's search for something important. Ashens, yeah, that's about as important as it gets. Ooh, don't like typing on this. You know resistive touchscreens? You know how they work? By having a sort of a membrane over the screen, and when you push your finger down it contacts between the two, or when you push your stylus down if it's a little one. Well, this one has a fairly big gap between the mesh over the top and the screen. I don't know why I called it a mesh, it's probably some sort of plastic. But anyway, when you push it down, you kind of feel it going in and connecting. It's all a bit icky, you know, that sort of do not want in the back of your head the whole time you're doing it. But anyway, it works quite well, so, you know, they probably couldn't splash out something capacitive. Right, Ashens YouTube channel. Where's my website, actually? Ashen could mean made from ash wood. Thanks for that. Oh, where is my site? Ah, that'll do. And it loads. It's connected to my network at home, obviously, and through it goes. And yeah, you can read that fairly well, actually. Notice little YouTube things. We'll click on one of those in a minute, see what happens. Big old zoom in and zoom out to read the old text better. There is a kind of multi-touch going on. I was going to say it doesn't work very well. Bizarrely, it just worked perfectly. That's odd. That's really weird. Whenever I've used the sort of multi-touch this before, it's been almost useless, and now it's absolutely fine. How bizarre. Maybe it's worn in or something. I don't know. Sorry if I keep drifting this out of frame, by the way. I'm sort of trying to look through a thing and it not working, and it's confusing me. Right. Does it have accelerometers and things? If I turn it up, does it change the orientation of the page? Why, yes, sir. Takes a little while, and you don't get a nice animation. And you probably want to look at the internet like this, and you're looking at some very strangely shaped pages, but yeah, it works. Nice feature. Thanks for that. What happens if you do press this YouTube video? Clink. It zooms into it. It zooms out of it. What if I hold down? Oh, yep. Play. Ooh, complete action using free DI download. Oh, that's a YouTube download. A YouTube downloader that I downloaded to download from YouTube. Yeah, that's not confusing at all, is it? Let's just try the built-in YouTube app. Go on. Ooh, didn't want to do that, did it? Ooh, everything looks red. I think it's because it's calibrated itself with a bright screen.
Hello.
Hello.
Blimey, that
Oh, I can't listen to him.
sure is expensive, eh?
Bloody idiot.
Well, if you've been thinking to
Whining
yourself,
on. Why won't it pause? Oh, there we are. As you may have noticed, touchscreen is not the best in the world. It's, yeah, not going to exactly rival the iPad's capacitive one, but there we are. What do you expect? Let's go back out. That is the internet, in case you hadn't seen it before. Home, James. Oh, I can't remember how to get out now. Let me out. No. Escape. Oh, crikey. New windows and more. More. Come on, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. No. This is great. I can't actually remember how to get back. Let's just push the home thing on there. Yay! It worked, and we got a little animation. We're all happy now. Now, this is something I was particularly interested in, the Android market. It's like the App Store, but for Android. If you haven't worked that out yet, you probably couldn't work out how to press play on this video. Anyway, market. To buy a fat pig, or to look at some apps. And it's actually pretty good when it loads. It just works kind of like the App Store, except far more things are free, to be brutally honest with you. Browse health? I don't want to browse health. I'm the healthiest man in the world, except for all the others. Apps, that sounds good. Communication? Comics, Yo Mama jokes. That's brilliant. Chuck Norris facts. Oh, God. We've hit the level early on. Facebook. Go on, let's download something, just a matter of interest. Top paid? Paid? Do I look like the sort of man who pays for things like the state of this sofa? Google Maps is free and already on there. Go on then, what happens if I download Facebook for Android? Not that I particularly like Facebook. The application Facebook for Android will replace the currently installed Facebook. Oh, it's already on there. It proves how much attention I pay to Facebook. Oh well, let's not bother then. But as you can probably guess, you choose things and it downloads them and installs them and they all seem to work. So, you know, not going to complain about that. Actually, here's something I'm going to mention. As I said earlier, the wireless here is connected to my home Wi-Fi network. Now, it never ever gives up like the iPad did. I had immense trouble with the iPad. You'd have to keep switching it on and switching it off and terminating the connection and redoing the connection. No problems like that at all with this. It's worked perfectly since I first turned it on. So there we are. This is one thing this does better than the iPad. Except there's probably been an update to the iPad by now, but never mind. Let's just give it a point, because, you know, we haven't given it many so far. Something else I'll point out, little battery meter. The battery in this is not too great, shall we say. In fact, it lasts about 5 hours on standby. You know, just as in... oh, that button doesn't do standby anymore. Never mind. You know, just leave it with the screen off. You've got about 5 hours before it flattens, so that's not particularly good. And if you're actually doing anything useful, you've got about... an hour and a quarter. I expect less if you're doing 3D games. A bit depressing, really, when you compare it to the iPad's 10 hours, but there we are. Should stop comparing it to the iPad because it is a lot cheaper, and it still kind of works. Go on, away it goes. Let's see what's in the big menu. Calibrate the screen. Oof. Nope, the screen is working, I think. Armageddon Squadron, now we're talking. It's a game in 3D. Man, it looks like I'm in a sort of lava pit from the end of Revenge of the Sith, doesn't it? Where's Hayden Christensen coming on to nauseate me with his pathetic acting? Come on. Armageddon Squadron. Planes have been shot down. It's always sad. Sound enabled? Why, yes please, sir. Ooh. New game, multiplayer. Ooh, that's quite a nice menu system. What a huge bomb. New game, go. Oh, that was cool. Right, tutorial, campaign, time attack, arcade. Just arcade. I'm going to play it for a little bit to see what it's like, really. I'm worried this is going to jerk, actually. Don't know why I said that. Come to think of it, I did play it once before and it was fine. Spitfire, Messerschmitt, Hellcat, ME262. Go on, we'll have a Spitfire. Prefer to Hurricane myself, but there we go. Right, how do you start? Big tick there, I would assume. Loading. Please wait. Yay! And, ooh. How do you shoot? I can't remember. Oh, that's how you change weapon. Way! Ah, here we go. Hey! Woohoo! Sorry, I've just realised I wasn't looking at the camcorder then, so you probably couldn't see any of that. Just make it up in your head. It'll be fun. Bang, 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 bang. Ooh, a little bit jerky there. Woo! The accelerometers actually work quite well. I'm using up all my ammo for no reason. Go on, fly around a corner while flatulating, or whatever it is it's doing. Anyway, quite enough of that. You'll also notice that running 3D games, it, pretty much works quite well, actually. Which does beg the question, why the hell isn't the menu smoother? Just ridiculous. You've taken all your resources away from the user interface like a mental. Okay, let's get out of here. Exit. Bye. So that's a game. It works. I wouldn't exactly have a terrific amount of fun with it, but you know, it was free. What more do you want, eh? There's a camcorder. That's interesting. Something that the iPad doesn't have at all, of course. A camcorder and a camera. For your viewing pleasure, here is a photo I took with the camera. And the video looks like this, and sounds like this. Yeah, we're talking sort of sub-mobile phone levels both, unfortunately. Let's scroll down and see what else we've got. Oh, jerk. Why? Moan, whinge, very annoying. Oh, a game about finding the differences. I love this. Spot the difference. Spot the difference. Turn it up the other way. New game, yeah. Actually, oh no, and then continue, resume. I don't want to lose my saved game. Wow, 2 photos of buses. Something's different in one of them. Oh look, that's different. I've just realised this is probably the most boring thing in the world for you to watch. I always enjoy those games. Don't know why. Probably because I'm a cretin. Exit. Thank you. And back across. Yeah! See, we're getting used to it now. Right. What else have we got? A calculator. That's always fun. Calendar, apps installer in case you've got them on your SD card, which is poking out of the side. EOE market, not even sure what that is. Can't remember. And you know what? I'm not going to check now. Yeah, Google Mail, which as I said earlier isn't set up. Google Goals, blah, 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 blah. There's many apps available for this platform. And several interesting games. Raging Thunder. Oh, that's good. Oh, Paper Toss. Look, the infamous early iPhone games. Can we call it an iPhone then? Not entirely sure what that is. Is this loading? Yes. Go on. Hey, Backflip Studios. Paper Toss! Hooray! Right, let's go for easy, because I imagine it's not going to be that easy on the screen, frankly. Yep, I know how to play the game. It's not difficult. Yes, alright. Oh! Oh, straight in. Look at that. Round of applause from the idiots in the office. Oh, actually works fine on the screen. Ooh. Oh! I've ruined everything. I'll get the sack. Exit. Well, that worked quite nicely, actually. Well, not the exit button, but the rest did. What else have we got? Go on. Before this video goes on forever, let's just pick another couple of things. YouTube. Well, as you've already seen, that works pretty well, actually. Super Yahtzee. It's like Yahtzee, but not copyright infringing. Version of Shazam, because of course there is a microphone in this. That seems to work quite nicely. Ah, Real Player. Oh, Real Player. Anybody who used the internet, I think in sort of the late 90s now, is probably going and going off to wash themselves to death with a Brillo pad. Real Player was a nightmare. You had to have it to use these proprietary codecs they had for different forms of video. Basically, Real Player managed to squash video down to small sizes for dial-up connections and that, but you had to use their horrible software in order to view it. And the software was awful. It was a dreadful bloated thing that took over your whole PC and slowed everything down and made your dog explode and death to them, but somehow they still survive to this day, and they've written this sort of, well, media player, almost VLC type app for the old Androids here, and I must say, it works a treat. I would like to view a video, please. Okay, here are your videos. You do not have any. That's odd, I did earlier. Let's go back. Actually, that is odd. Photos, yes, we've got 2 photos. One of a Simpsons thing I've taken for some reason. That's weird. Why isn't it showing the videos? Oh, here we are. They're back now. We've got the Banksy Simpsons intro, which I put on here to test, and Westward Ho, which is a different thing. This is the one I always use to show tablets for some reason. Oh, it was my dog when he was little. Now he is bigger.
Steel, the ultimate golden terminating ninja warrior dragon.
Shut up. Yeah, basically, it works absolutely fine, and if you have the HDMI out running, it will run absolutely fine on your telly and look pretty good while it's doing it, so that's really nice. I'll tell you the nicest thing about it. If you want to go off somewhere with a video, you know, like I do frequently to meetings and that, all you have to do is copy it onto your card. That's it. It will then play off it, as long as you're slightly more patient than I was. So anyway, there you have it. Oh, crikey. Is it going to stay red like that forever? That's frightening. Ooh, my hand's on fire. No, sorry, getting carried away there. Right, basically, that's the device. It kind of works. What's the best way of describing it? It kind of just reaches the plateau of useful, but, well, sadly falls well short of being something you'd actually want to use. The thing with the iPad, to go back to that yet again, is that you really wanted to use it because it's so sort of tactile and fast, and you can go woo-woo-woo and mess around and do stuff. This is the opposite. It seems to actually do more in its way by being less locked off, but... and here's the killer, you feel like you're fighting with the UI a bit in order to get it done, which is really irritating. But it must be said, if they could sort out the AI, stick in a decent battery, and add a capacitive touchscreen, then this would be a bloody good device. Also probably considerably more expensive, but there you go. Actually, the battery is a real killer, because for the simple reason that not only do you not use it for long, but you have to turn it off if you're not going to use it for any periods. It still eats battery quite heftily in sleep mode. And what this of course means is that you have to wait for the damn thing to go through its long startup sequence each time. Very annoying. I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is something that most people would want to use. For instance, I showed it to my sister, and she just couldn't get her head around it at all. She's like, why isn't this working? Why isn't that doing things? I'm fighting against it and losing, you know. But I think if you're a slightly nerdlinger type, you might get some joy out of this. I think the best way to describe it, actually, is if you've watched this video and thought, that looks vaguely useful, you will find it useful. If you watched it and thought that looks a bit crap, you will not find it useful. Don't buy one. So there you go. Something else we should mention is that, as alluded to before, this is like the latest, greatest, super-powered one, and there's some really poor earlier models on the market. Be very wary of these, because around Christmas time I've noticed, they've started appearing in catalogues for real shops, often branded with the shop's name. The example most commonly used is Next, which is a sort of chain in the UK of clothing shops, and they do sort of home stuff as well. And they're actually selling it branded as a Next tablet for, I think, around the £150 mark, except of course it's nowhere near as good as this. It's got some awful user interface you can hardly use, and do a search for it on Google and see some of the video reviews of people weeping to death over it. Absolutely horrifying. Anyway, that's enough of that. Do you want to see the HDMI out? Alright then. So here we go. This is it through my television, and I shall use the little remote control. Across we go. Down we go to Real Player and Videos, please, Bob. There we go. Do Westward Ho since I own the copyright. There we are. Absolutely fine. Plays beautifully, works perfectly through HDMI. We love it very much. I'm going to bed now. Bye. Oh, nearly forgot to mention updates. Yeah, these things get software updates relatively often, which can tweak and tingle things so that it runs slightly better. However, two things to be wary of. The first one is there's loads of different internal makeups of these, so perhaps the update won't work on the one you've unfortunately bought. And secondly, they do release new hardware fairly frequently, so you're going to get left behind then either way.